I'm setting out on a journey across 3 continents in search of one of the biggest stories of our age, the unstoppable rise of China in Africa. Throughout the world, Chinese industry and wealth are shifting the balance of power. I will be crossing Europe to Asia to find out what Chinese attitudes towards it.
市场，中国也需要。
I will travel across Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa, to explore the Chinese business impacts on local people.
Even though they came with some goodies, they also carted away a lot of our things from here.
I will be finding out more voice along Britain.
I think ideologically it was very important for China to show international socialist solidarity.
To find the common and difference between these 2 great nations on their roots on the attractive continent, Africa. Lagos is the biggest city in Nigeria. It's one of the busiest in Africa. Cruising around the city, the Chinese influence strikes you straight away. Chidi Uchindu is a chief operating officer of a Nigerian electoral security company. His company is acting as an agent for a Chinese brand, Hikvision. Several years ago, he was at a very destitute condition. However, since he began to run as an Hikvision agent, money seems to pouring into his pocket. While working with Chinese, he is impressed by their working style and the Chinese products itself, which have given him a lot of fortune.
When we started the business, I had some reservation working with Chinese. But by the time we started working with Chinese, I'll be sincere with you, they are very, very nice people. They are very, very aggressive in terms of business. But Nigeria, because of our culture, we are not too aggressive about business, but we believe the Chinese orientation has really imparted our own philosophy. So we are becoming very, very aggressive about business also. The Chinese brand that we chose, Hikvision, they are affordable, they are durable, and they are consistent. We never had any problem with quality because we got a lot of feedback from our client that the product is good. So I think the quality is good.
Compared with the similar Japanese and European products, Chidi thinks Chinese one has its unique advantage.
European products, they are out of reach, but Chinese products, as I said earlier, they are affordable, and they are able to perform the same function with the Japanese and the European products.
The day we interviewed Mr. Uchindu is the birthday of one of his staffs. They celebrated it with their Chinese fellow. After visiting Mr. Uchindu's company, I went to the biggest electronic market in Nigeria, which is also being flooded with Chinese products. Since Chinese power became stronger and stronger in Africa, one of the most common criticizes is that Chinese companies do not hire local workers. However, in 3C Hub, an emerging Nigeria-based Chinese electronic retailing company, things seems are different.
我们公司有500多个本地员工，中方员工12个。我们开发非洲已经有一定的年头了，大家都知道，非洲应该是最后一块这个蓝海市场，这个很必然的。包括现在随着这个时间的推延，现在越来越多的中国公司也进入这个非洲市场了。
Mr. Guan believes that compared with Chinese staffs, local workers have their irreplaceable advantages.
我们的本地员工主要是在中层，他们能够很好的理解这个高层的决策的意义，还有方向，还有细节，以后传达给这个当地的基层员工，这样就是说能更好的执行这个我们高层的一些决策。如果是中方员工去做这个事情，有可能存在一些沟通上面的障碍，或者说文化理解上面的障碍，这个很多原因。
For 3C Hub, the other attraction of this continent seems to be low wages of its labor force market. However, for most of the African locals, the salaries they can earn as well as the welfare they can gain from this Chinese company could be a big leap compared with working in a local enterprise.
知道这个当地的就业率其实是不高的，有份工作其实是很多人都向往的。当然，我们不是说我们有一个工作就很多人来，我们还是要给本地员工提供更多的一些 职业上面的一些保障和一些薪酬上面的吸引力。我觉得我们这个公司啊，在这个手机电子产品零售行业上面的薪资还是比较有竞争力的。我们还要给员工买这个社保、养老保险，还有工伤，这些我们都要买的。
However, from the observation of Elizabeth Blunt, a previous BBC West Africa correspondent, apart from the diligence which Chinese enterprises are well known for, cheap labor is still an important factor in attracting Chinese companies' investment.
Well, I think the Chinese companies expect their workers to work extremely hard. I think Chinese workers work extremely hard, and they're setting new standards in Africa for hard work, and local workers find this difficult to keep up. And the wages are not high because, let's face it, one of the reasons that Chinese companies come to Africa is because the wages are low, lower perhaps these days than they would be in China. So there have been labour disputes. Zambia particularly has been very much bothered by labour disputes with Chinese companies. They don't like people don't like the management style. It's different. They don't get on with it. The Chinese companies are very demanding, and the wages, as I say, are still very low. It's the fact that Africa these days occupies the same niche in the global economy that Southeast Asian countries once used to occupy. They're seen as low-wage economies. If you want to staff a factory with low-wage workers, you can't do that. You certainly can't do it in Japan, and you probably these days can't do it in China, or it's much more difficult to do it in China. So you look for somewhere in the world where you can still staff a factory with low-wage workers. Countries like Ethiopia are actually making a point of setting up industrial parks and factories and attracting people by offering them low-wage workers, and that's their great selling point.
Africa, the one last blue ocean market on our planet, attracts Chinese investment in many aspects. Apart from the big government-to-government level cooperation, a lot of private businesses like 3C Hub exist. In China, mahogany furniture is extremely welcome. Increasingly, Chinese private logging companies are setting up in partnership with companies here in Nigeria. About 700 kilometers away from Lagos, at suburb of city of Enugu, several Chinese wood cutting and packing bases were settled down. Mr. Lin Zhang is one of the great number of Chinese logging businessmen here in Nigeria. He and his business partner have been interested in Nigerian mahogany for 2 years, and now they are seeking for their new customers.
我这次主要是跟我朋友一起过来，那我们2个人过来就是做木材生意。红木在中国已经发展了大概将近20多年吧，所以为什么就是说现在会到非洲来发展这个木材？因为这个木材的话，相对它做的产品属于中低端，那适合这个人群。那么国内的就是说大众也慢慢接受这个红木的这种文化，可能买实木我还不如多花一点钱过来，就是买个红木，不管是在档次方面，在耐用性方面，那肯定都大大提高了嘛。
Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, but in most parts of the country, people's living standards are still very backward. To some extent, the arrival of Chinese businessmen has improved their lives.
With the coming of Mr. Lin, the Chinese activities started booming. He has a beach inside where they offload these woods, he pays them, and he has workers with their machines, chopping machines and cutting machines for woods and things like that. So I must say that the difference between his coming and how this place was before is that before it was just a transit and there was no business. But now that he has come, woods are coming in and people he is buying, and the young people are actually getting jobs.
However, Mr. Lim mentioned about their very first market was not Nigeria. There are some Southeast Asian countries like Laos and Vietnam, but in those countries, wood like mahogany will run out.
像东南亚的木材基本上都消化完了，所以就是说，肯定如果要生存的话，肯定要对外肯定要扩张。
Nigeria has one of the highest deforestation rates worldwide. Logging to feed furniture factories in China is thinning the forests of Africa. Quite a lot of them are spurred by the demand from the US, Europe and China domestically. While grateful to the Chinese for stimulating local economy, Ibrahim Mama also hopes Chinese government and businessmen can help to protect the forest while doing timber business.
I am really advocating for a situation where each wood that is being chopped down should be replaced by planting 100. I have heard from the Chinese people that their country, they don't have this type of woods, or even if they have them, they are not as strong. Now that our soil is good for this kind of trees, let them come down, use their technology, because I know China are developing every day. They should be able to come over and do some investigations and see how to improve.
Business is probably just about making money. After overjoying Nigerian mahogany, the Chinese seems are not interested in generating little trees, but just finding substitutes.
如果想支撑中国市场的话，中国市场大概还能开发它尼日利亚多久？
以我个人看法，应该还有10年的周期。
10年以后它会是一个什么情况
？10年以后，肯定它的量肯定已经在减少啊。然后就说尼日利亚只是非洲中的一个国家，那么其他的国家也相应会有类似的这种材料，新的材料出现。一旦比如说尼日利亚这边的材料慢慢就是量在减少的情况下面的话，我们一般都会再去就是说去寻找一些新的替代品。
It's as much grabbing and plundering and business as it's ever been. I mean, the sad thing in a way is that African countries who've been interested in development have always said that it's their great regret that foreign companies just want to come for raw materials, take the raw materials unprocessed and export them. It makes it very difficult for them to grow their own economies. They would like, you cited wood, to set up a wood industry that goes from raw timber to finished planks to using it, perhaps a furniture industry. But foreign companies have never been very interested in that unless they've been absolutely forced to. And it doesn't look as if Chinese companies are any different from their predecessors. So it's not getting African countries anywhere nearer to growing their own economies. But from the Chinese point of view, from the outside business point of view, it's perfectly understandable. That's where the money's to be made. And that's what Africa can do.
我觉得这个非洲的资源吸引只是一个部分，或者是一个很小的部分。从这个政治上、经济上来说，中国和非洲都是互相需要，谁也离不开谁。中国现在的资金和技术，非洲发展就比较需要。那非洲的这个资源和市场，中国也需要。从政治上来说，中国和非洲除了自身互相帮助以外啊，政治上平等互信、高层往来不断以外，还有在国际事务上，比如说在联合国这个平台上，也都是需要互相支持的。我们中国是联合国常任理事国，我们在这个利用联合国这个平台为非洲朋友仗义直言、主持正义。当然了，非洲朋友也在联合国对我们中国也进行了大力的支持，比如说在台湾问题上，在南海问题上。中非关系它是源远流长，有良好的政治基础，它也不能光说是在经济上互相需要。现在中非关系实际上它是一个全面发展，从政治、经济、文明、文化交流，包括和平安全合作，包括人文交流这一方面，国际事务上互相协作，它是一个全面的发展，全面合作的一个态势。
Two threads link all the Chinese activities I've seen as I traveled across Nigeria. They explain the vast use for key resources and the army of hundreds of thousands of individual Chinese entrepreneurs. The threads are commerce and politics. The Chinese don't see poor countries in need of help here in Africa. They see business and political opportunities. They regard Africa as a vast potential market. And one thing is for certain, the Chinese will claim as much of that market as they can.